To introduce myself to those who don't know me yet. My name is Freddy Oswaldo Cruz. I'm a student of Didactic Resources for English Teaching Language, whose teacher is Licenciada Alejandra Marisol Melendez Cruz. The topic assigned is Relevant Aspects of Writing Skill. Now let's continue with this next slide, which is the introduction. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about the importance of writing skills in the academic field. Firstly, I will mention the purpose of writing. I'm going to mention what to write and how to write. I will explain 4 factors that we can implement in writing when we are teaching English in an educational institution. I will tell you some writing techniques that might be useful to improve the students' writing. I will finish by giving you some useful information on how teachers should correct the students' written mistakes and how feedback could be implemented. I'll tell you my personal experience with the technique named free writing. So stay tuned and join me on this trip. Purpose of writing. Firstly, we need to know what we are going to write about, and that is what. In this case, what refers to what you usually write on a typical date at college. For example, essays, letters, invitations, emails, a shopping list, a telephone messages, reminder list, etc. These are just a few kinds of writing we do. We must be clear about what document or text we'll be writing. Nowadays, more and more people are writing. This is due to the increase in access to mobile phones, computers, smart TVs, social networks, etc. Second, let's analyze the how to write. One can start making a shopping list without taking so long. We need to know that reading and listening involve receiving information, and so they are called the receptive skills. On the other hand, speaking and writing are known as productive skills because they involve producing words, phrases, sentences, and paragraphs. With that being said, we must take into account that writing is a process that needs to be overseen by the teacher. In order to have a well-written paper, it needs to be revised for grammar mistakes. Writers do a great number of things before they end up with the final version, the finished product. For instance, they take notes, write the first draft, then the teacher must check that draft, and later a third version must be done, where all the mistakes are corrected. Depending on the final version, the text could be accepted or rejected. Let's continue with the slide number 4. Some techniques that help students to improve their writing. A writer writes on a typewriter or on a word processor all his work. To do so, they use the following techniques: free writing, journaling, and private writing. These strategies enhance the writing process and productivity at any level, not only in the academic field. In fact, I've done the free writing technique in which you are asked to write as many sentences as you can without paying attention to grammar mistakes or coherence. The main goal of this technique is to know how much you know about any topic. I remember once I used this technique to write an essay about the positive and negative things in the Catholic Church. I wrote 4 pages on everything I knew about the topic. In the end, I had to present the first draft to the teacher, and he corrected all the mistakes on the paper with red ink. At that time, only a few possessed a computer. Therefore, everything was on paper. Then I had to rewrite the essay correcting the mistakes previously marked by the teacher. Then I handed in again to the teacher for the second revision. And guess what? There were still mistakes. After the second version, I had to write the final version with all the minor corrections and recommendations done by the teacher. I haven't forgotten such a nice experience. Slide number 5. 4 relevant aspects we need to consider when writing. According to H, in her book about teaching writing, she lists some factors consisting of 4 sections. The first one, communicating; the second one, composing; the third one, crafting; and the last one, improving. Communicating represents the first stage of the writing process. The activities suggested in these sections are designed to help learners become used to writing as self-discovery and as a means of communication. Examples of activities include producing a class magazine, exchanging letters with teachers and peers, and writing a new newscast, all of which require learners to write within a specific genre and context to a specific real-life audience. Composing is the second stage in which the learners experience the mental processes of gathering and organizing ideas before actually starting to write. Activities in this stage include making mind maps, using a diagram of ideas, brainstorming, and cubing. Considering a topic from 6 different points of view, such as description, comparison, and application. Crafting is the third stage in which learners are guided to produce well-structured written work. Activities involve writing a book, review, a description of a person, a biography, and an essay with contrast and comparison. In these activities, the learners are provided with opportunities to raise their awareness of how written language, paragraph discourses is organized in different kinds of text. The final stage is improving, when the teacher and the class collaborate to improve the quality of writing through awareness activities, such as conferencing on plans and drafts, peer editing, reformulation, and checking accuracy. Slide number 6. The classroom can provide an environment for writing at each of these 3 main stages of gathering ideas, pre-writing, and planning. When I was writing an essay, the teacher told us to brainstorm as much ideas as possible on a sheet of paper Then he told us to organize the information between the positive and the negative things. I almost forgot. I He also told us to search for as much information as we could for the topic. All of these tips were useful as pre-writing tasks. They helped me to organize the ideas and planning better the ideas that I had to write about. Number 2, working on drafts. When I was in the writing process of my essay, the teacher told us to write the way we could, and so I did. The previous stage helped me to write the first version, which had to be checked by the teacher. And number 3, preparing the final version. After the teacher checked and corrected the first and second drafts, I was ready to write the final version of my essay. And this is the process one must follow to write academically. Now, the slide number 7, correcting written work. Let's analyze if the correction of mistakes is positive or negative. According to the reading, it can be bad if we only take red ink and begin to underline all the grammatical mistakes on a paper. Nevertheless, it also states that it can be beneficial to students since they know all their deficiencies. I will say we need balance when correcting students' errors in writing. And now let me tell you or present you the conclusion. Writing is a solitary activity, but our students will not be writers, right? Taking that into consideration, writing is a productive skill that needs to be developed little by little and step by step. We must help the students with different activities to acquire writing skills gradually. First, we can assign them to write some basic sentences, and then we can ask them to write a short description of someone. Then we can ask them to write one paragraph, then two, until they can write a complete essay of 2 or more pages. That will be all for today. Have a nice day and see you next time.